Hello, parents and guardians, and welcome to my virtual classroom. My name is Miss Whitman, and I'm excited to welcome you to the virtual version of Room 204. If you're watching this video, it means that your child is either in my Writing Workshop 6, Language Arts 6, or Theater Elective class, and whichever class they have, or maybe even more than one, I'm delighted to have them. I'm excited to tell you a little bit about what we're doing this year, what things are going to look like, and I hope that you learn some things, and that if you have any questions, you'll not hesitate to reach out and ask me. All right, let's go. Greetings, parents and guardians from the Book Igloo in the Collingswood Middle School LMC. I sure do wish that your kids were here so we could be sitting in front of it reading together, but alas, it's a strange year. A couple of things I wanted to share with you about me and about our class. First of all, I wanted to start by letting you know, just as I do on every back to school night, that I love your kids very, very much. And that might seem crazy because I haven't even met a lot of them in person, but I want you to know that I really do mean it. I love them very much, and it's the reason why I do what I do is because I love them. And so I want you to know that even in this strange year, however things go, however things turn out, one thing that you can be certain of is that I will do my very best to love your children well. I'm going to do my also best to help them to read and write like superstars, but if only one little bit of growth happens, and that growth is helping them to become, as it says here, stronger, kinder, more self-aware young people, then I will feel like some success has been had. Our mantra in my classroom is embrace your weird, and I really encourage students to be boldly themselves, and I'm excited to find out what kind of weird, unique, awesome kids you've got, and to help them to embrace that weird as writers, as readers, and as human beings. Quickly about me, I went to college in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and then I got my graduate degree at the University of Pennsylvania. None of this time was spent planning to be a teacher, but I did study in the educational realm. I just recently finished my 7th year teaching. This is year 8, and last year finished a principal certificate, although I'm sticking around the classroom for the time being, and I'm very much enjoying it. Prior to working as a teacher, I worked for a study abroad company that allowed me to live and work abroad in Peru and Belize, and to also travel around to college campuses working with student groups who would then travel to international locations to do service. It was an awesome job and I loved it, but I found that the part that I loved most was the part where I got to interact with and help students. And so it only made sense that I move into a role where that was my primary function. And I'm so glad that I came into teaching and I found such a home at Collingswood Middle School. Our classroom values, there are quite a few, but here's the list, but I wanted to touch on a couple. One big one this year is going to be digital citizenship, just being good cyber citizens, using sources well, treating each other with respect in digital spaces. That's going to be a big focus for us this year. The other one I wanted to mention was that fourth one, community of care. What I mean by that is that I treat Room 204 not as a place where individual students come to learn independently, but where individual students come together to join as part of a learning community. And so I really spend a lot of time and effort on making our classroom a place where it's safe. It's safe to be vulnerable, it's safe to speak out, it's safe to disagree, and it's important that we all know each other and care about each other and celebrate each other's successes. So that's a big focus for me in Room 204. If your child has me for writing workshop, there will be 3 main units this year. There'll be a narrative writing unit, there'll be a focus on literary essays, and then there'll be an informational writing unit. Strewn throughout the year will be lots of grammar. I love grammar. I love punctuation marks. I like to wear earrings with quotation marks on them. I don't have them in today, but I promise I have them. So your kids are probably going to get sick of my enthusiasm for grammar, but I'm going to keep sharing it till they share it with me. In language arts class, we have a mix of independent reading tasks and a lot of class reading. What we'll often do is we'll read a class text together and we'll work on certain skills using that text as a guide, and then students will be asked to apply those skills to a text that they're reading independently. We'll also work on vocabulary. We'll do a lot of public speaking and presentation. All of that is part of our language arts curriculum, and I love it. I'm really excited to work on those skills with your kids. This is a long message here, and I would just ask that you maybe press pause and read it. But if there's one thing you can take away, just know that it's really important as parents that you honor your children as readers and writers, that you don't let them get away with saying they're not a reader or not a writer, because they are both those things, and that you ask them about what they're reading and writing, model reading and writing around them, and talk about it with them. I can't ask for more than that from you. And I just hope that you will encourage your kids and let them know that you believe in them as readers and writers, because I know that every one of them can succeed. Grading is pretty basic. It's just a point system, so every assignment will be given a points value, and then at the end of the marking period, we'll average the points earned divided by the points, the total points possible, and that's how we'll calculate their average for the marking period. If you have any specific grading questions, please reach out. Don't hesitate. If you want to communicate with me, I'm pretty super responsive. I do my best. Not perfect, but I do my best to get back to you as quickly as I can. Email is usually my method of choice, but if you want to talk on the phone or if you have some other means of reaching out, you're always welcome to do that. I'm also on Twitter. You can follow me at Wonder Whitman, and I'm always posting interesting things happening in our classroom community. I also will be sending out a regular brochure called the 204 brochure. It's a virtual newsletter about things going on in our classroom. So I would encourage you to look out for that. And if there's ever anything you want to see in there that you haven't seen, just let me know. You'll see in there that I also have a lot of love for and emphasis on social emotional learning in our classroom. So we do a mindful minute at the start of each class. We talk about how to relax, how to relieve our anxiety, and especially in this crazy time, I think that's really important for kids. So that's something that I really try and do with them. If there's one thing you take away from this presentation, I hope it's that I love your kids and that I'm here for them no matter what this year looks like. If there's anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to ask. And I look forward to one day meeting all of you in person, I hope. Have a great year with your children, and thank you for entrusting them to me. It is an honor and a privilege.